Hi, this is Taapsee and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Well, we have with us Taapsee Pannu, and she has delivered two performances that are surely some of the best performances of 2018. And she's an actress who has this unique penchant. बहुत से लोग troll अगर कोई उनको करता है तो फिर वो उनको रिप्लाई अगर कर देते हैं तो बातें होती हैं. इनके एक यूनिक पेंशेंट है कि that she likes to troll the trolls, which is beautiful. So Taapsee Pannu, pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you, Faridoon. Always good fun talking to you.
Alright, so in fact I'll just give you an example that how she likes to troll. अभी आपको लग रहा है कि that इतनी सादा सी innocent सी she has muscles. When she was on social media, her muscles are. Someone tweeted to her, "Me Too movement is a failure in India unless the person is named and shamed. Raise voice by taking names, not rambling diplomatic gyan whenever holding a microphone. Bollywood actresses lack unity and spine." So उसका जवाब आता है, "And you lack brain." मतलब आदमी एकदम बिल्कुल फौत हो गया होगा उसके बाद तो मतलब जमीन के अंदर गड़ो पानी पड़
I wish गड़ जाता हूँ वरना.
And इनकी एक यूनिक चीज है कि अगर जब तक दिन में 2-3 लोगों को ट्रोल ना कर रहे हैं, रात में इनको नींद नहीं आती लगता है.
कभी कभी खुद के एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए भी कुछ चीजें करनी चाहिए.
100%. But it's very apparent that you really enjoy this.
I do. Otherwise, you will probably talk to them in an aggressive tone like how they do, which is not fun.
Right.
It is fun when you really use them for entertainment purposes.
No, but you can be aggressive as well.
I can be, but I don't want to waste my energy on these guys.
Absolutely. अगर कभी किताब लिखी जाए, I'm sure लिखी जाएगी, trolling and all that stuff, तो उसके अंदर आपके जो tweets हैं और वो सुनहरे अक्षरों में लिखे जाने वाले. But I'll give you an example that entire, now we're looking at it in a fun manner, the entire Manmarziyaan thing.
Yeah.
And when you just retorted that I'm sure that there should be like a drug test outside Gurudwara. So that's something that it's a very reasonable thing to say, but the fact is that it's something and it startles you.
Yeah.
But it requires guts to say that.
Yeah, of course. They are not making sense. So I just want to mirror to them that this is how you guys are sounding right now.
Right.
Be it when I said that, thank God to this cut that no Sikh will ever smoke and no woman will ever think of any other person in the Gurdwara anymore after this edit.
Right.
As this movie is going to change the entire face of this religion now and will make it a perfect religion in the world.
Right.
So it is how I show mirror to these guys that this is really how you're looking right now.
Right. No, absolutely. But I'm sure that the critical acclaim for Manmarziyaan must have been very heartening. It has been called, I think you've got all sorts of epithets for your performance, but still the box office you would have wanted more because you told me that 100 crores
I want 100 crores for every film of mine, of course. But honestly, it was not like I think that you want 100 crores, but everybody knows कि इस film की कितनी limit है. इसकी 100 हो सकती है, इसकी नहीं हो सकती है. But yes, having said that, of course I expected or I wanted Manmarziyaan to make more than what it made. Though, with the love that I've gotten, that is so overwhelming that it's almost making me feel less bad about the fact that it didn't touch the numbers that I thought it might. But yes, as I always said, I'm a box office girl. For me, happiness and success is only about numbers. So yes, I will always have this whole thing that, okay, I could have done a little better, because one thing is when you know and you hear from people कि ठीक थी, अच्छी नहीं थी, it's okay, then you understand you've gone wrong somewhere. But here with this film we were all very confused, like the response from public or the critics or whoever's, like there were beautiful articles and messages coming all our way without even asking for it, and then you see that probably it's not translating exactly in the same way in numbers, which made us feel very confused that okay, this is weird, how do we interpret it? Is it good or not good? But definitely, I honestly believe that something must have gone wrong somewhere that it didn't really reach the numbers that because eventually it's the audience who decides if the film is a good film or not.
So the response was very positive as far as the critics are concerned, and so I've met people who've said that मैंने 2 बार देखी है, and those who have loved it, they've loved it absolutely. But then there was this criticism about that maybe the pacing was slightly on the slower side, and then in India we have this entire morality that अगर आप पंजाब का आप सरसों के खेत और लस्सी की बात करते रहे, so everything is good. The moment you just come up with like उड़ता पंजाब, and मैं तो सोचता हूँ अगर कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं होती पिक्चर के बेचारे क्या होता. So the moment you just show the flip side, so people are saying हम तो इस तरीके के है ही नहीं. So जो morality के issues थे,
वो रहेंगे ना Faridoon. We are a very double standard society. Let's accept that. What we preach and what we practice are two very different things. For most of us, like majority of us, it's very difficult to own up your own flaws here in this society. None of us are perfect, but dare we say that we are not perfect or we are not good people. कोई own up थोड़ा ना करता है कि हम गलत काम भी करते हैं, but that is the reality ना. आप कोई सब यहाँ पे राम और सीता तो नहीं बैठे हैं ना. So obviously there is flaw in everyone. But if today, a lot of people said that it's difficult for people to go out and say that मनमर्जियां में यार क्या मतलब क्या स्टोरी थी या क्या मतलब कैरेक्टर्स थे, बिकॉज दैट मीन्स यू आर प्रीचिंग दैट्स लाइक अ गुड कैरेक्टर एंड दैट मीन्स यू आर preaching that whatever that character is doing is good. So it's like very difficult. You might be knowing that you yourself can relate to whatever is happening, but dare you go out and accept that, because that might end up other people judging you. So that kind of a double standard does exist in our society.
Right. Okay, and so in fact the moment she says Ram and Sita, मेरी सांसें ऊपर के ऊपर नीचे की नीचे हो जाती हैं. अभी पता नहीं किस बात पे आज के टाइम पे लोग बुरा मान जाएं. So
right now तो I said it in all nice and the bestest way possible.
I know. लेकिन मेरी सांसें जो हैं वो okay, and this entire analogy that came out about Amrita Pritam and Sai Ludhianvi bit. Do you feel that maybe if that could have been mentioned in the beginning itself and part of the promotion? So there are people who are into literature and who just absolutely adore Amrita Pritam and Sai Ludhianvi and Imroz, which is what Abhishek's character plays. Do you think it could have maybe affected the film positively in a way?
No, actually this
because
film,
बहुत से लोगों को तो अभी भी नहीं पता होगा उसके बारे में.
नहीं पता है.
It's only in the social media that it has come.
And only people who know about literature or something about history of literature in any way know probably a little bit about it. But this film was primarily not to really reflect her life in particular, because of that interval voiceover of mine where I use those words of Amrita Pritam where I say मैं तेनू फेर मिलांगी. That particular line is very, you immediately resonate that with Amrita Pritam. That is why, and that whole unrequited love feeling and all, but it was not exactly based on their lives. That is why we didn't really use that, because that's not what the film was about. Just that little emotion of that unrequited love and that मैं तेनू फेर मिलांगी वाली line and all, that was taken from her life.
Right.
Is why we paid thanks to her also in the beginning of the film.
In the beginning itself.
And whatever probably that Kanika Dhillon, the writer, is the best answer to how much she was really inspired with that. But the film was not really exactly about her life. It was just one small element taken from which probably is there in a lot of love stories in our world. The unrequited love wali feeling. So that is the reason why we gave that thanks. It was not right to own up that Amrita Pritam's story, because it was not really that. So it was not fair of us to do that.
Right. Okay. And then you've had Mulk. So I think both these films, I think they will keep on resonating. Surma, I personally like the film. I was a bit surprised that maybe it could have done better as well. I really like that film.
Thank you.
I thought it was both you and Diljit. I think they were really good in the film, and Angad Bedi, of course.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Mulk is concerned, so Anubhav Sinha दे गए भर के कोरमे खा रहे, कबाब खा रहे, मुल्क के नाम से.
I really don't know.
बिरयानी खा रहे.
He is posting more pictures of food than he posted during promotions of Mulk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what is he more obsessed with, films or food. I think he'll say food.
नहीं, absolutely नहीं. मैं कह रहा हूँ मुल्क के नाम का मतलब जो दे गए उनको मिल रही है, घरों पे दे गए आ रही हैं, कबाब हैं.
Every few days we exchange messages saying, and either he or I will initiate the conversation and we'll be like, इतना प्यार मिल रहा है अभी तक मुल्क के लिए, इतना प्यार मिल रहा है अभी तक. Even when it released online, eventually when it came on recently, then it felt like a re-release, because till date now also I get flooded with these messages from Mulk, because they all are like apologetic message saying sorry we didn't watch it in theatre, we should have watched it. I got a beautiful message, I got a call from Vidya ma'am today morning, and she's like, I just happened to see Vidya Balan today morning, that I just happened to see the film and I really didn't want to type a message, I wanted to call and speak to you. That how brilliant was that film.
That's a big compliment, because she is a terrific actress.
Yes, it is.
And a very good, genuine human being.
Yeah, she is. She's very, very, very sweet. Comes across, I have never really interacted with her, but whatever I've seen a little bit of her, comes across a person who lives with all her heart, and I love such people.
No, absolutely. And I always tell people, at the beginning of her career, I think around उनकी करीबन 10 फिल्में, उनकी 10 या 11 फिल्में जो हैं, या तो बनी नहीं या फिर रिलीज नहीं, उनकी जिस तरीके से.
I've heard that.
Which is like amazing, South में especially.
Yeah.
And which is amazing, and that still to bounce back, and each film the way she promotes, उसको ऐसा लगता है कि that जिंदगी और जान उनकी, because she has seen that.
Yeah.
So
do
she's
you know
very
the value?
100%.
You know the value when you've seen the dark or negative side, so you value the positive even more.
100%. All right, and तापसी पन्नू ने इस साल इनकी एक और भी फिल्म आई साकिब सलीम की के साथ में, जिसकी एक बहुत ही यूनिक डिस्टिंक्शन ये रही कि दैट उनका जो इंटरव्यू था एक, वो फिल्म से ज़्यादा कामयाब रहा. ज़्यादा लोगों ने
हमारी पूरी प्रमोशन जो थी वो फिल्म से ज़्यादा कामयाब रही एक्चुअली.
So, but that Bollywood Hungama interview was really hilarious.
Really? You loved it?
People really enjoyed it.
Nice.
The sort of video views that we've got, I think it was amazing.
चलो कुछ तो hit हुआ.
नहीं, मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि पिक्चर से ज़्यादा जो है वो देखा गया.
चलो Faridoon, at least every film I have to do one hilarious interview with you, so at least उसके hit होने की तो guarantee होगी.
Definitely. I think this year we've had like around, this is the 6th interview or something.
Yeah, it's actually quite a few times.
Yeah, this is.
I'm happy you're not bored.
No, absolutely not. You know, it's really amazing that we speak to you, then we see what you're doing, and which is really wonderful, and so it's really commendable, and especially the fact that you've come from outside. So now we're seeing a lot of this right now, this entire Me Too movement, the way it is happening. So it is coming to the light that people who are not from the industry, they have a far tougher life in terms of being propositioned and the way things are coming out. So people from within the industry, they have a far protected environment to survive in.
Better guided.
Yes.
Route. Yeah, right. That is there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I believe I saw one of your panel discussions, I think a few months back or whatever. So I think you have mentioned that you've experienced certain things down south that way. So how do you look at the way things are right now and the way things are?
What I had experienced down south is, which I mentioned in most of my interviews, like how you mentioned of Vidya Ma facing those back-to-back flops and or not films that didn't release and all that problem. I had that something similar in south. I had a couple of films released back to back, not working, and then I was tagged as the iron leg, the unlucky charm of the industry, and so that was pretty disheartening for someone who didn't really contribute anything to the script than just 5-6 scenes and 2 songs. So it was very difficult for me to accept that okay, I am the one who's responsible for the films not really failing, for films failing. So those things, that's why you value whatever you get now even more.
Definitely.
Because of all that you've gone through. But all this, Me Too and all that, I've been, I should say fortunately or unfortunately why? Because I couldn't contribute at a personal level to the movement in any way, because I haven't honestly gone through this kind of a situation in my life. Can be any reason, I don't know why. It's not like only specific type of women go through it, or no, I don't think like that. But for some reason or the other, I haven't experienced it. But yes, I've heard first-hand incidents where women have experienced it. So I'm just so happy that this filtration of sorts is happening. It's the Shahryar time, and this is like the time where all the Safai will happen.
Safai is taking place.
Safai is happening, and I'm really hoping something really long-lasting and good will come out of it eventually when we are out of it. But when we are going to be out of it, कब ये नाम आने बंद होंगे, I don't know. I don't know how long still we have to go on with this, because I don't know कितने नाम बचे हैं. Because as I said in the beginning, when all this started coming out, it somehow felt like it's just tip of the iceberg that we are experiencing. And more than the names, honestly, Faridoon, the descriptions were horrifying for me.
Yeah, so we have spoken to a few. We have spoken to Rachel White, and who's encountered with Sajid, and so we've spoken to Tanushree in a detailed manner, and other people, Naini Dikshit as well. So that has been there, but at the same time, everything I think has like an other side to as well. So there have been instances when false cases have come up as well. So there is Chetan for that matter. So in fact, he had an email from 2013, so he could really just spell it out. See, the fact is that you have a different version, but I am having it on email that how you have been communicating with me. So that is quite and there are some big boss starlets who are coming up with bizarre stories about big stars, and even some really big stars.
Yeah.
So which is very, unfortunate.
It's very sad, you know. And there's so many times when people come up to me and ask me, there were some journalists who asked me to give interviews on this whole movement.
Because you've done Pink.
Yeah, because I've done Pink. I said, you know, you want to take a quote or whatever that I would like to say about the thing, okay, but please don't take these long interviews from me, because I don't want to take attention off these women who actually have a story and they need to be heard. What's the point of me talking about it when I'm not really gone through it? I am there, I'm saying I'm supporting it all, or what do you need me to do? I'm there for that. But just because, okay, you are in a particular position, so you need to get the entire attention and limelight and your interviews should be there. No, I don't want to take that attention away from the women who need to be heard. So I want to give this center of attention or platform to all these women out there to come use it and say out whatever, you know, you've gone through it. Of course, there will be some kind of a collateral damage or some kind of, you know, whenever you have power or whenever there is some kind of a force which is in motion right now, there will be some people trying to misuse it. And it is not just females, you know, it's about any movement whatsoever. You'll have some people misusing the power as well. But I just hope that, I don't know in what way do I explain to those females that please don't take away this moment or this time when these women really deserve to be heard, the women who really deserve to be heard and who need to, you know, put it out, whatever's happened to them. Right. Please don't snatch this away from them, you know, by giving out stories which eventually takes away Janta ka trust from this movement. You know, that I just hope they understand, you know, this. That's why I am personally staying away from giving long interviews. I am there. I hope, I mean, I am making myself clear that I am all in for this movement, but at the same time, I don't want to take the attention away from these women. I hope the other women who are trying to misuse it also try to understand.
Yeah, that's true.
Please don't do
that's
that.
True. Because, you know, that is always the case. Like in terms of the blackmailing does take place, and there is extortion is taking place, and so all those things do take place. And apart from that, at times there are mainline actresses who keep on coming up with some bizarre stories every now and then and especially when their movies are about to release, which in a way dilutes the entire cause too. This year has been very, I think, interesting for you because say you've done Mulk, you've done Manmarziyaan, you've experienced that. So there is a certain amount of politics that you're dealing with as well in a way. So in India right now we have this, you know, these two extreme forces. Either it's like extreme right wing, which is like extremely abusive and it tends to troll like anything, and then even on the other side, the extreme left for the matter, even they can be extremely abusive and very dominating.
Any kind of
extremism is not. So what I'm trying to get as that, you know, the way certain film stars are being heckled, you know, that आप opinion दीजिए इसके बारे में. अगर आप नहीं बोलेंगे, like for example Mr. Bachchan for that matter, he's already given an opinion, whatever. So the way they are being heckled, अगर आपने नहीं दिया तो then how can you say that, and ये है वो है, the entire thing. So do you find that a bit disturbing? आप मतलब जो आप सुनना चाह रहे हो बस हम वो बोल दें.
हाँ, तो वो तो ओपिनियन नहीं मांगना होता. वो होता है कि मतलब जो हम बोल रहे हैं बट वो तुम बोल दो बस. अगर वो नहीं बोलोगे तो then you will be trolled.
Correct.
That is not really asking for opinion. That's just like forcing something out of a celebrity's mouth. Correct. Which is unfair. You know, sometimes it's just forgotten that we are also as normal a human being as anyone else. It's not like we know everything about every topic and every issue that's happening under the sun. Sometimes we feel that sense of responsibility कि हम कुछ गलत ना बोल दें. In terms of, yes, if there's something happening, we want to make sure that we know everything about it before we give out a statement, because otherwise again we'll get trolled for saying something that's probably not right. So might as well be self-assured before you give out a statement. Like for example, if Mr. Bachchan didn't say something in the beginning and he eventually ended up giving an interview and talking about it, probably at that point he was not so sure about what had happened. After that he probably took his time to know about what had happened and then mentioned it in the interview. So he took that time. Please, let's, you know, likewise there might be so many others who wanted to just know for sure what has happened and then speak about it. What's wrong in that? You know, it's okay if they didn't know about it. Might as well. Half knowledge is very harmful.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Better not
speak. It is. I find the parallel in that you know that अगर पाकिस्तानी artists को यहाँ पर अगर काम करना है तो they have to just denounce the entire Uri attack. It is I think in a way similar to that if at all if they have to be on our side, the actors right now, so they have to give a statement that is something that we want to listen to.
Yeah, this is a weird barter deal that they're...
Weird barter deal. On the other hand, what is happening is that certain big stars, उनकी पुरानी relationships हैं, उनको इसके अंदर लेके आया जा रहा है. It has no connection with this entire thing at all. अगर एक certain alleged harassment है 20 साल पहले का, it's got nothing to do with this. It's in a relationship for that matter. So what is happening is that too many things when they're coming along, so it's becoming confusing for people. क्या exactly है क्या ये?
See, it's about whoever is coming in whoever is in the limelight. You want to just rip that person's past, present, future also apart to make sure you're just making that person stand there naked for you to judge. It's about you just want now to just throw your opinion onto the person judging past, present, future. अरे उसकी सुन तो लो पहले एक बारी मतलब और and then why do you have to give an opinion on everyone and anyone? If you don't like anyone, then forget it. Don't follow that person. Don't work with that person. Don't watch that person. End of story. Why do you want to just throw so much of poison around by making things look so ugly for everyone? You know that people don't realize by throwing all this negativity around, they're just spoiling their own environment. If they don't like anyone, perfectly fine. Don't watch that person. Don't follow that person. Don't work with that person. But you know, just don't try to make the environment all dirty by talking something that using those things that probably will sound very weird, and you probably will find it awkward couple of years down the line by saying, okay, I said all this.
Definitely. Okay, now we are just we are in an age that we are bombarded with all sorts of imagery right now, and so you have this father who's accused in like a rape accused, and he's just welcomed with cheer in Jalandhar recently, and so people are just welcoming such a person. So how do you react to that? You know that certain things are getting trivialized just because that say agar aap if you are like a
see, as I said, you have both sides of the coin everywhere. There'll be a bunch of people who choose to be ignorant or who choose to act in a certain way because of certain XYZ pressures, and there'll be a bunch of people who will probably distinguish between right from wrong. But the problem is not the people who don't know things or ignorant or they are doing wrong. The problem is when the people who know what is right, they don't do anything about it. The problem has always been that. I've been saying that even when during Mulk the issues that were trolling that was happening, even during Manmarziyaan, the problem is not about these people, the negative people talking. The problem is when those people who have the brain and sensibility of judging right from wrong, when they stay quiet. Right. That is the problem, and that is what the problem is in every such case that happened, be it in the Jalandhar case, be it in this Me Too case, be it in any case.
Like Sabrimala for that matter.
Yeah.
The visuals that have come out yesterday, the way the media.
And I tweeted about it, and then obviously people just don't like anyone to take a stand here. If अगर मैंने नहीं लिया होता stand, तो मुझे troll किया जाता कि भाई you have done pink, how can you not take a stand on this? Correct. And because I took a stand, not because I had this pressure of pink, I took a stand because I saw those visuals
of the girl from inside.
Yeah,
it was from inside.
It was so sad. What I was watching. Look at that. So I'm like, there's one thing when you say, okay, the law has finally passed. You know, when you celebrate, acha, you know, wow, our court has taken this judgment and all. What about enforcement?
You tweeted that.
Yeah, you know, there's a two.
They
look like two very different things. One is making a law, other is enforcing it, and it doesn't look like it's got anything to do with each other because there were police and all standing there. You know, so so I don't know what to say. Should I celebrate the law or should I just still feel अच्छा law तो pass हो गया but पता नहीं execute होगा कि नहीं. So when exactly do I celebrate the change?
Definitely. In fact, with Padmavati for the Padmavat whatever. So after the Supreme Court's intervention, even after Supreme Court's intervention, it did not release in certain states.
Exactly. You know, even with, like, for example, the states
can't comply with the Supreme Court's directive, फिर आप क्या करोगे?
Exactly. See, something like Manmarziyaan, we had the CBFC certificate. After that, we were forced to censor the film. When a governing, a law-binded this group that is supposed to give us a certificate, has given us a certificate, why are these local groups coming up and telling us what to censor and what not? Then what's the point of having CBFC at first place?
I spoke to Anand sir about that. He said that it was my decision, it was not Sunil Lulla's decision, and I thought that maybe it is for the better part of the film. And if given a chance now, I would not do that. And maybe it was not a good idea. So how do you look at Anurag's reaction? Do you find it maybe? But that is vintage Anurag. So that's how he is. if he changes then लगेगा कुछ मसला है.
See, that's true. He is like he is impulsive. Yes, he is someone who just is all heart again. जो उसके मन में है, he'll just think without filtering it. Will say things out. If I was in his position, I wouldn't have dealt with that a particular tweet. I wouldn't have done it. But he's a different person. I'm a different person. I'm nobody to judge him for whatever he's doing.
Right.
One thing that I constantly kept saying all throughout this thing, be it to Anand sir, be it to anyone from Eros or to my cast and everyone, I don't know how to feel as a director. Like today, if I was a director of the film, I would have been heartbroken. And how your film is butchered without you even knowing about it. How do you say that cinema is a director's prerogative, or that his vision, or it is his medium? How do you even justify this today when a director is not even told, forget about being asked, when his film is being cut, and it's just like very ruthlessly being cut? And it was so shocking. I was shooting, I remember at that point, and I saw Anurag has issued a statement apologizing, saying sorry, it's too late, I can't do that now. And within an hour there's a certificate saying ye cut ho gaya. So I was like, oh
director, like,
God.
Obviously like you feel cheated.
Yeah, so the editor of the film, the director of the film, the writer of the film, none of them were informed also, forget about asking, which I feel, if I would have been in their position, I would have been devastated as well. So that was really sad. I just hope that nothing of this sort ever happens to anyone. Anand sir must have his own reasons, and he is a genuinely nice human being. So he owned up the fact later on that okay, probably it should have been dealt in a better way, in a different way. But that's how he is. He's a nice human being to own up to the fact that something did go wrong. So, but having said that, I was shaken up by the fact that my own community feels that in Gurdwara a woman cannot think of any other man while she's marrying this man. Who gave you the authority to decide what a woman will think at any place? How are you controlling what people are thinking inside a Gurdwara? Like what kind of rule? I'm born and brought up in this religion and I'm extremely proud of it. I probably know about it much more than a lot of their standing because I've studied it in my school. And dare not they come and tell me that I am not the good Sikh or the Sikh at first place. Dare not, otherwise I'll start challenging. Just because you have this whole facade of we are those torch bearers of the religion and all that, you want to just go to extreme ways to show your so-called love for the religion, doesn't make you any better Sikh than me. So it was really disheartening. Smoking and all was probably something would have been chopped off. It doesn't really make much of a difference. But what really blew my fuse was that how dare they tell me that a woman will not think this in a
absolutely.
Gurdwara.
And today's day and age, in fact, the idea is that I think maybe we were far more progressive maybe a few years back rather than what you're right now, because now to it's like increasingly the entire tilt is towards being as regressive as possible. The more regressive you are, the better it is actually.
Especially with religion,
it's too much.
It's something that some set of people have realized that this is a good trigger point. Iska button dabate hi some big drama happens, or chahe unemployment ho, poverty ho, and all these things are not a trigger point.
Like for Sabarimala, they're doing this. They should be doing something for the petrol prices.
Yeah.
They should be doing something like
nobody talks about that. It's because everybody
is affecting everyone.
Because some set of people want the attention to go to only this, so that the attention doesn't come to those kind of topics.
Obviously that is there. When we just go through your timelines, so you're posting all those. All the products that you're endorsing, you're having this badminton team as well as well. So badminton से खैर मोहब्बत होना भी चाहिए, अच्छा sport है, कोई doubt नहीं है. And so what I'm trying to say is, and you have these fearless, bold sort of viewpoints. All right. So do you at times feel a bit nervous at times, because these days we've seen that certain actors उनके endorsements पे affect चीज़ें की गई हैं, beat Swara, beat Amir, and does that thought cross your mind? Because आज के टाइम पे किसी के लिए भी उठ के कहना बहुत आसान होता है कि that actors को बोलना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए, all that stuff. But the fact is that do they have this freedom कि उनके economic जो उनका एक जो sustenance है उसको इम्पैक्ट नहीं करेगा. एंड द फैक्ट इज दैट जैसे आपने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का आपने कहा, आमिर का डंके की चोट पे किया गया, दैट्स एंटायर स्नैपडील थिंग, नथिंग हैपेंड in front of everyone.
Yeah. No, things a lot of times are unfair to us, but that's the price we pay of getting this kind of name and fame that we get in this film industry. There's certain price that you pay with it. If you ask me, I have only one rule when I think of speaking out or and all. I shouldn't hurt anyone, in a way that, okay, that this person is unnecessarily being hurt by me. The kind of people, I target deserve to hear the reality or truth.
Sure.
The people, the genuine people, the genuine followers, or people who have the sensibilities, or who are regular normal people with no specific agendas of any sort. I don't want to hurt anyone at a personal level. So that's my only censor. That's the only censor I have in life. And apart from this, I don't care. I will say what I feel is right, which doesn't hurt anyone at personal level. Rest, I don't care. I'm not a person who will shout at the top of the voice on every topic, but the topics that I feel for, that are attached to me or related to me, my films, the topics I deal with my films, that I will not shy away from talking about, because that really helps me be the individual I am. I want to sleep a good sound sleep. I want to look into the mirror confidently saying, I'm living my life not with any fear. So unless and until I'm hurting someone in a wrong way, I have nothing to fear about.
So as you mentioned about the sleep short while back, so जब तक वो 2-3 लोगों को troll नहीं करें रात में उनको अच्छी नींद नहीं आती है. So but that is commendable. So as someone who just loves to see that people speaking out and people speaking their mind, but the fact is obviously, and I genuinely believe that they who are speaking their mind, the fact is, if you are being brave, you find the way as well.
Yeah.
Because आप कब तक आदमी रहेगा?
Yeah, I'm a human being, and for what all should I get scared of? Yeah,
there's no limit to that.
Yeah, so I want to live my life. I'm not surviving it, and people will love me for who I am. अगर मैं चुप करके बैठी रहूँगी, then this is like one ambiguous person who just comes and does and is an entertainer and just goes. I want people to know that I have a spine, I have a brain, I have a certain sensibility, and I want them to relate to that as well.
Definitely. So if we look at this year itself, the sort of releases that you've had, for that matter, I'm sure that you must have really evolved as a person as well.
The sort of, it does change you.
The way we spoke about Mulk, and जिस तरीके का आपका एकदम एक जो energy थी उस especially courtroom में, what we are seeing in Manmarziyaan for that matter. So I'm sure that you must be evolving as well, and then there's so many people would want to speak to you on certain issues. They would want to call you for various discussions and all those things. So I'm sure that there's a different sort of growth as well,
and
which
that is
must
actually
be
helping me in all the brands, because it really helps me to
in terms of thinking sort of.
The people who approach me with brand endorsement, they want someone who is identified as a voice of an average Indian woman today. So that's the reason why I get a lot of brands, because they do want a person who has who people actually want to listen to.
No, definitely. So in fact, जैसे कहते हैं ना कि that honesty with a little bit of common sense still the best.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. That's well said.
मैंने एक बोरीवली स्टेशन में देखा था बहुत साल पहले.
अरे अच्छा याद रखूंगी मैं.
एक और चीज़ थी कि that in the beginning of your career, it's what is more important is that what you learn rather than what you earn. So I think learning जो है.
Oh yeah.
That's
it definitely is there.
Rapid fire with Taapsee Pannu. All right, so what will be your Diwali gift for the following people? Okay, Aarti Malhotra from Mulk.
Aarti Malhotra from Mulk. I think what Diwali gift? I think she should be celebrating it with her in-laws at least. I gift her a ticket to come back to India if she's gone back to London where she stays in.
Okay.
So she can come back and celebrate it with her in-laws.
Great. All right, Rumi Bagga from Manmarziyaan.
I will not let her burst any more crackers, because she's बहुत पटाखे फोड़ लिए Rumi ना, she needs to like now calm down a little bit.
Calm down. All right. Harpreet from Surma.
I need to let her celebrate. She's like sacrificed way too much in life. She needs some good celebration to happen. So from Rumi's celebrations should shift a little bit to Harpreet.
Okay, and Koroli Nair from Dil Jangli.
She needs to understand what Diwali is all about first.
Alright, this is interesting. 3 things that you learned in year 2018 as an actor.
That your characters can touch people's heart really deep. Like it can really, without even knowing the other person, you can be a part of another person's life for really long with just the characters you do.
All right, if you can describe following people in one word. Anubhav Sinha.
Very intelligent.
Abhishek Bachchan.
Very funny.
Yeah. Amitabh Bachchan.
He's a buddy.
Anurag Kashyap.
He is a little psycho.
All right, Vicky Kaushal.
He is like a Biba Munda.
Okay, ye ya wo, either or, you know it very well. Mulk ya Manmarziyaan.
Always the next film, Faridoon. Always the next
smart
film.
Now. All right, that's really good one. Okay, Rumi Bagga ya Aarti Malhotra.
Always the next film, Faridoon.
Okay, Rishi Kapoor ya Amitabh Bachchan.
That's next film is with Amitabh Bachchan. I'll end up choosing that only then, yeah.
Okay, which has more interesting content, South films or Bollywood films?
Right now, though, I am the one that I'm doing in South, at least in the last 2-3 years, I'm choosing it only because the content is at par. It is actually, this is a weird question that I kept getting asked every time I went for an interview, be it in South or in Hindi. In Hindi, they say, oh, there's like brilliant content there. And when I go there, they say Hindi people are doing some really interesting stuff.
They're doing remakes of Bollywood and they're doing remakes of
yeah, so
of
it's
South
like, I'm like, no, you both are getting it wrong. So yeah, it's a tough competition between both the languages.
Alright, comedy or thriller?
I like watching comedies. I like doing thrillers.
Barrack Costa, Vicky Kaushal or Saqib Salim?
Arey. This is a very tough one, yeah. Saqib, yaar, I know I'd love both of them. No, please, Faridoon, don't do that to me.
Let's skip. Saqib dil pe le jayega. मतलब मैं समझ
I know, I can't even like choose.
और फिर वो मतलब he really likes to explain in a very detailed manner, so I think we'll skip it. So we'll skip it. Alright, complete the following sentences, please. The only thing that I regret about in year 2018 is ...
I regret.
हाँ जी.
I regret तो नहीं, मतलब मुझे just that I hoped for a bigger total number of all my films put together than what it is. That's
okay.
all.
My most favorite film of year 2018 is?
The one that I was a part of?
Yeah.
Honestly, there will be a tough competition between Mulk and Manmarziyaan. I can see both of them back to back and they're just so different that I can't even choose one out of them.
Alright, one Bollywood film I'm dying to watch this year is?
This year? I think I'm looking forward to seeing Zero.
Okay. Alright, true or false? True or false? Box office performance of Manmarziyaan is below my expectations.
Yeah.
Alright, 2018 has been my best year so far as an actor.
Yes.
Critics were quite unfair with my film Dil Jangli.
No, they were right.
They were right. Okay. So Taapsee Pannu, as always, wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
If you can please briefly tell us something about your forthcoming films. What are you doing next?
Badla, 8th of March. Women's Day, we'll celebrate with Naina Sethi this time. And Sujoy's films, so Sujoy's films, female characters are always to reckon with.
Yeah,
so,
he's really
yeah, so that, and then after that, I'm right now working on my Tamil Telugu bilingual. That's again a female protagonist film, and that's going to be releasing next year. Along with that, I have another film that I'm starting February. You'll get the announcement pretty soon. And then there is another film that I've signed. So I'll at least have 4 releases next year again.
What about web series or content?
That I haven't started anything yet. I have no aversion towards it. If I get something that I always say that's something that I haven't gotten an opportunity to do in my regular mainstream films. Something that I feel that ये मेरे को अभी तक नहीं मिला है या लगता नहीं है mainstream में मिलेगा. This is something new and different. I'll do it.
All right. So okay. So all the best wishes and thank you so much.
Thank
and lovely talking to you as always.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Taapsee and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe and hit the bell icon.